Hello viewers, you are watching the Doordarshan Kendra Kohima. Welcome to the panel discussion on World Mental Health Day. So every year on October 10, the World Mental Health Day is observed to create awareness around mental health issues and also to mobilize efforts to support mental health and issues related to it. But to understand more, we have on the panel with us Dr. Viketuli Pienne. He's a senior medical officer from the State Mental Health Institute, Kohima. We have Sister Rupa Nandi. She's a motivational speaker, a senior meditation teacher, and the director of the Brahma Kumari Raj Yoga Meditation Center here in Kohima. Thank you for joining me.
My pleasure.
So we'd first like to start with the basics. Dr. Viketuli, I'm coming to you. If you could tell us, what is mental health and why it is so significant, but why is a separate day like this needed to observe and to create more awareness on it?
Yeah. Firstly, this World Mental Health Day has been observed since 1992. And the goal of this day is to highlight and create awareness on mental health issues all over, and so that these issues can be made known to the general public, number one. Number two, the day is observed to generate support and resources so that we can tackle this mental issue. So this the two main, plus the third thing is to avoid stigma and discrimination. This issue is being observed all over so that it can be discussed in public domain, so that the stigma can be reduced.
Okay. Sister, can you very briefly tell us, what do you understand by mental health and what your organization does for it?
Yeah, our organizations, basically we are doing or providing the community services as per the mental health related. That first we should know that our thoughts level, that mental health issue is related to our negative thoughts. There are 4 types of thoughts which is upcoming in our mind: positive, negative, vastus and necessary. So basically our Brahma Kumari's organizations, whatever services we are providing, and today is especially the mental health day, and for this mental health issue we are just giving the society that the tips of meditation, like walking meditation, and that meditations like busy life and easy meditation, how we can do. It is actually all over the conditions of our thought level. So we have to first understand our mind, the working our mind, that our mind capacity is how much and how we can work by our mind, like not in negative sense but in positivity. But nowadays we can see that the positive thinking arising, this things is very much difficult to common man. So we are basically dealing with this, the positive thoughts, how we can arise positive thoughts in our mind.
Okay.
These things.
Dr. Viketuli, I'm coming to you now. So we are now living in a world where we have faced COVID-19 lockdowns. So what has been the impact of COVID-19, especially on mental health?
Yeah. The last 2 years of lockdown has generated a lot of stress and tension. Many people lost their job, many people died, the economy went down into recession, creating a lot of anxieties and insecurities in the minds of many people. Then that is one. Another aspect of the lockdown was that we were all restricted suddenly. See, the whole human body is designed to move, and when you don't move for 24 hours a day and you are confined to a space without any movement, it generates a lot of stress among children, among husbands and wives. There was lots of stress, lots of fights and quarrels, restlessness and irritability among children, just because of this very act of lockdown.
So where do you think our state stands now? What is the present scenario as of now in terms of mental health, if you'd like to take us back to 10 years ago and compare it to today?
Yeah, it is not going to get any less. The anxieties and the worries of life are increasing every day. Modern life has brought us so many complications, It's in fact our life has become much more complex than before, and along with this complexities of life, the stress of life, the anxieties and the worries are increasing. Our expectations are increasing, you know. So with all these things, when there's a lot of pressure generated because of this, we're going to have a lot of mental health issues.
Right. Sister Rupa, you've earlier mentioned about positive thinking, but there are often times that we cannot control our thinking, our emotions. So how do you think we can protect ourselves and protect our mental well-being?
Yeah. So for that, in our Brahma Kumaris organizations, we are basically conducting or teaching this Raja Yoga meditation. The Raja Yoga, the Raja itself, its meanings are king. Actually, by practicing this meditation or yoga, it is completely about the mind yoga, mental yoga. That we first observe, we first focus on one point, and after that we just trained that how one pupil, they just let their mind know to how they can arise the positive thinking. But it is very much difficult, because any times when sometimes of that circumstances or some negative or bad issues, when it comes to in front of us, that is very difficult to just arising positive thoughts. So for that we need some time, much more controlling power. But for that controlling power achieving, we need balanced in our life. So what type of balancing we need, these things also actually we teach, the balanced of life, the art of balancing. Because this is actually related, like mental health and the anxiety, stress, it is the related one another. So like that we could not positive things and at one level and 1 second we doesn't arising this very easily, but we need to just self empowerment and then self introspection, and after that gradually it will be happen that only positive thinking, it will come in our mind. And we can win over that negative issue and so on.
Okay. Dr. Vikatuli, I'll come back to you again. So in terms of our health, at the State Mental Institute, how do you deal with patients who come for treatment? What are the kind of treatments that are available? If you could highlight some of it.
Yeah, for a regular case that happens every day, we start with, after assessing the patient and coming to a reasonable diagnosis, we start with our medication, psychiatric medicine. It's followed with counseling, it's followed with psychotherapies. We try to address those psychosocial stresses that are causing the problem. So accordingly, we try to address those issues. So that is how we go about.
Okay.
If the patient needs admission, we admit them in the hospital. If the patient can be treated at home, we give proper counseling to the family members. Family members is also very vital to the treatment of mental patients. In India, the setting is family-based treatment, unlike the West.
On that note, I'm curious to know, Sister, if you'd like to tell us, how can families contribute to this in terms of mental health? Often there are children facing mental issues, but we often do not detect it, or we tend to ignore it. So how can families contribute here?
First of all, families, they have to choose in their life, like we nowadays we much more taking care of our skin and our health, and then so we need nowadays to just choose to taking care of our mental health issue also. Like mental health problem, it doesn't come to only like 1 day or 2 days, but it is actually a long journey. Some depressions patients, they are just coming in our center to just taking courses of our Raja Yoga meditation, and when they doing just go through the courses, after 7 days they just find out that, yeah sister, that type of thoughts, negative thoughts, it has came into our mind. But after the 7 days meditation course, like we have joined, like it is drastically changes in my mind, like my thoughts capacity, my thinking capacity, and like that it's all over changed. So the family members, they have to just take a step forward to just choose the mental health taking care, like they just taking care of their physical diet and all, and almost physical fitness we maintain, and we taking care of our diet, our nutritions and exercise and all. So for that mental health issue also, the families, they need and they observe their thinking capacity, है ना. So there were many kinds of negative thinkings like anger and then ego. These are the main root cause, because due to this causes, what type of food we consuming in our body, like so in our mental health, what type of thoughts we consuming during the whole day, it is very much important. So we should take care of our mind, and there is a process in our meditation session that how they can taking care of their mind by consuming the good food.
Okay, so food is equally important.
Yeah, food is equally important, but here the mental food, it is the thoughts.
Okay, okay.
That's much.
Dr. Vicky, would you like to add to that, because you have patients that are admitted to the State Mental Health Institute, and these patients are being brought forward by their families. So what is the role of families here in terms of?
That's a very interesting question. From our point of view, we say our mental problem evolves with the most significant person in our lives. That is the immediate family members with whom you associate with every day. So counseling them and then helping them to create the right conducive, positive environment is very, very vital to the health of the children or to the client concerned. If there is negativity in the family environment, lot of hostilities, quarrels, fights, I tell you, it's not very healthy for the sick person. But if the family environment is good, cordial, a happy one, where there's love and respect, warmth, there you have a perfect condition for a perfectly mentally healthy person. So counseling the family members is very, very important, and it is more important than medication alone.
Sister Rupa, I'd like to come to you now.
Yeah.
We are talking about the role of families here. I feel like we start at a very young age, and children go to school. So what is the role of the school in terms of mental health? Your organization, do you deal with school students as well?
Yeah. Actually, in Delhi and in other states, we have started one RT lab. This one is Raj Yoga Thought Lab. And when this program had started in some areas in India, that drastically changes have come in students. Students, they have just erecting some projects on RT lab. It is actually right thinking lab, and through this Raj Yoga meditation process, once we teach them, then we actually give the students to make some assignments or make some projects. And these things, and I myself, the director of Brahma Kumaris Kohima, so I am also looking after that if we can also do. It is here in Nagaland, so we are trying to this, because the school is the main education center, and we can fit our students' minds are good things from that education level, from the school level. So we are trying to do it to the incept.
Okay. So Dr. Viketuli, in terms of our state, what is the situation with the adolescent group, especially in terms of mental illness or mental disorder? How is it like? How do we see it?
Yeah, there are a lot of stress experienced by our young people, especially the adolescents. Stress coming from the school, the workload, the volume of the course, and plus I also see that a lot of our young people are indulging in substance abuse, especially they call it the street name sunflower. A lot of young people are going into alcohol, a lot of young people are going into ganja, smoking, and this is creating a lot of problem for them. And some of them develop full-blown mental cases, especially with ganja abusers. So young people's problem is no less. They are experiencing a lot of stress.
On that note, do you also provide rehabilitation for people facing that?
Yeah, in Kohima, So in Kohima, besides the hospital, there are other centers where they cater to the needs of these substance abusers. Like in Naga Hospital, we have the opiate substitution therapy, which caters to the needs of these heroin abusers. That we also have 2-3 rehabs, like the Kripa rehab. We have now our rehab also. Yeah. What do you call?
Brahma Kumaris
Brahma Kumari
organization.
Yeah. So we have this rehabs. we also have other rehabs that are coming up now that are catering to the needs of these people.
Sister, if you could tell us a little more on that, on your
Yeah.
de-addiction programs and
Yeah.
how patients with mental health are also being treated alongside the de-addiction programs.
Yeah, basically we are providing that medications also, and this our medication system, which is actually handled by our headquarter. Our headquarter is in Rajasthan, Mount Abu, and some senior psychiatrists, some doctors, MDs, time to time actually we inviting them to just providing their lectures, valuable lectures here. So we have conducted many programs time to time in Kohima, schools and colleges also. I myself also given them a motivational speech, as well as I invited our seniors, MD and psychiatrists from Delhi and Mumbai. So after when they diagnose them, they just refer them to just taken care of by meditations as well as medications also. And our Mount Abu, our Brahma Kumari's headquarters is there. We have their research center, global hospital. So in our global hospital, we admitted the patients actually. So the various patients, they have just admitted them, and they just recovered.
Okay.
Yeah, recovered only the medications. We totally not dependent on medications, but the main thing is that the meditations, because through that meditations, our willpower, the power of the choice of life, the main thing is our interest. What type of interest I myself, they're growing in myself. It is the main thing, and the power of determinations. This all the power we just inculcate ourselves through this Raja Yoga meditations.
Sister, I observed that your organization mainly focuses on meditation,
Yeah.
on yoga. So here in the state of Nagaland, as you are also functioning as an organization here,
Yeah.
what has been the response of the people? Because here very few would practice that. There are occasions like the yoga day when a lot of people participate, but on a daily basis there are not a lot of people participating or
Yeah.
taking part. So how does this help, and in terms of the state of Nagaland, how do you see it?
Actually, myself has been working here since 18 years. So in this 18 years long journey, I have been saying right now, like 2-3 years, that after I think COVID, the pupils of Nagaland also, they are much more aware, or they just want to know about this meditations. I myself just attend some calls. They just picked my number from Google, search Google, and just they call me. They just want to come our center, and we giving them the physical training also, some physical fitness as well as the mental fitness. So right now, our Naga communities, this pupil also, our Nagaland pupil, they are much more willing to join this meditations and yoga sessions, because it is a path of our success and the fitness overall, mental and physically also. And
Can I
Both
also
equally.
comment a little
Yeah,
bit?
yeah, please.
Your question is, how is the response of the
The community.
public into this area now?
Yes.
My observation is, one is the cultural barrier, social barrier, cultural barrier. Since this is, I know it's scientifically proven that this meditation and relaxation is one of the best technique for relieving our stress, and I advocate that. But there are still not many takers yet,
Yeah.
because we still tend to see them as as aligned to the Hindu culture. So probably because of that cultural barrier, it is not quite taken off in a big way yet. But the more educated people, the more learned one, they're beginning to accept that. Even I, as a doctor, I advocate that. No problem.
We are now seeing this from a religious and
Yes.
cultural
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah.
On that note, I'd like to know what has been the role of the church, especially because Nagaland is a Christian-dominated state. So when we interact with patients who have mental issues, they usually say that the first place that they go to is prayer centers or retreat centers. So what's been the role of the church here, Doctor?
Yeah, see, wherever the people are, the prevailing values for a Naga, the first thing, if there's any issue with a person in the family, the first thing that they would like to think of is to go to a prayer center. if they go to a doctor, they say, oh, doctor logote jaile dawai hi dibo. That will not heal your emotional pain. So they would prefer to go to a prayer center.
Prayer center, yeah.
In a prayer center, they pray and they get all right. And a lot of people are going to prayer centers. So I used to say, it must be working, that's why people are going there.
Right.
To a great extent, it works. Faith realm also, there is some space for mental healing. So I encourage both medication, some needs, so you go ahead. But other than that, besides medication, there are other issues that need some spiritual healing. There, this spiritual space is also open, and the option should be open. So this is where our activity comes into the picture.
Okay, one thing
I'd
I
like to hear your perspective.
Yeah, actually that the spiritual and the religions, like we know that our Nagaland is a Christian dominated state.
Right.
But the religions are many. We can say that we are Hindu, we are Christian, we are Islam. But the spirituality is the one. We should know the meaning of spirituality. The spirituality, this meaning comes from the word spirit. Like sister, you have a spirit, our doctor, he has a spirit, and I myself has a spirit. What is the meaning of a spirit? The spirit actually the power of love. Like the doctor says, the values, actually the power of love, the power of cooperation. The power of actually adjusting power. This has come under the spiritual power. So we Brahma Kumaris, actually it is not related to any kind of religion, particular religion, but yeah, it is a spiritual organizations. We basically counseling people to just adjust in your families, to just love to each other. And our in Brahma Kumaris, the main slogan is, when I myself changed, self change to world change, like self transformation to world transformation. So we are more focused on self transforming.
Okay.
What is in my mind, the food, the good food or the bad food in my mind is roaming on wandering.
The mental thought that you mentioned.
Yeah, mental thought is the main thing. And for that, the spiritual power is more required. But of course, the religions are many. We can say that go through to the prayer center or churches or mandir, but spirituality is different. Spirituality totally is come under the values, moral values.
Okay. Dr. Vikatuli, I'd like to hear from you if you think mental health issue is a common problem. I've once interviewed you where you mentioned that almost everyone in a way face mental health issues. So do you think it's common and widespread?
Very much. It's a normal thing. You should take it well in your strides, mental health issues. All of us go through some periods of anxieties. All of us have gone through some times of mild depression. I have felt depressed at one time. I was sick for 2 years, last 2 years. So during that time, I really went into depression. So, but I came out of it again. So all of us go through some mental health issues at one time or the other in our lifetime. So nobody is immune. All of us are vulnerable.
Sister, if you could, tell us how can we protect our mental health?
Some ways,
some mantras if you have.
Yeah, like the depression patients. When the depression patients, they come us, when we teach them. So like said I before you, that after 7 days goes, they just feel, my thinking before 7 days is like that. But after 7 days, strong, positive thoughts, it just come in my mind. Now I can say that, I can do. But before, I can't. Like a very low level of thoughts, quality of thoughts has come our mind. So for that, as your questions, like what we can do. So we can simply say in ourselves, the self, talking. Like now in our smartphone, we are too much busy to just look after our mobile and all. Nowadays, people, they do not choose to just sit silently. So to come out the depression and all, we need the silence activity. Just first of all, recognize ourselves, who am I? And the answer will come, I am a very powerful and positive soul. Now we have to visualize, if I am a very much positive soul, so what type of activities and work I should do? This is our visualization power. So it is a techniques, is a power, and one who just go through these techniques and these meditations, then they come up the depression.
That we have to
develop. We need that thoughts as well as that visualizations.
Okay.
If I say that, yeah, I'm a very much powerful, yeah, I can do this, but now I have to visualize what type of things I should do. We should visualize, है ना? So this techniques we actually using this Raja Yoga meditation.
Okay. My last question will be to Dr. Vikatuli. You know, if you could share your general view on this and what we could do to prevent.
Yeah, it's so important to be mentally healthy. If we're mentally sick, we cannot enjoy everyday life. If you're mentally sick, you cannot go to your workplace and be performing. If you're mentally sick, you can never be productive. You can never enjoy life. So it's so important to be mentally healthy. So I'll suggest a few things to stay mentally healthy. Number one, exercise every day. Morning, evening, if you have the time. At least 30 minutes to 1 hour a day, we advocate exercise. It keeps the body fit, it keeps the mind mentally healthy also. Secondly, we encourage healthy social relationship with the family members, with the people in your schools, with the people in your workplace. Good social relationship keeps the mind happy. That's a good positive protective factor. Then the third thing, we encourage everyone to sleep well. It is so important. Balance is key to mental health. Balance between your work, rest and sleep. Out of 24 hours, you sleep for 8 hours, you work for 8 hours, and you rest in between that 2 hours, 8 hours.
8 hours.
Eating, sleeping, talking, socializing. Okay.
Like I
so
said before,
balance
the
is
art
very,
of
very
balance.
important. Too much work, too little sleep is also not healthy for the mind.
Yeah,
Right.
bilkul.
Then the other measures that we advocate is to be engaged mentally in some creative vocational hobbies like gardening, music. I like music, so a lot of my time I used to spend singing. Then we also encourage people to be a little good at time management and good planning in life. A good time management and good planning in life helps you to reduce your stress.
Okay.
So this is, plus don't forget about the meditation and relaxation technique.
Yeah.
Very, very helpful and helps us to reduce our stress.
So thank you both for joining us in this discussion.
Thank
We have learned much about what mental health is, the issues surrounding it, why addressing mental health is important. I hope our viewers have also learned from our panels, our experts who have joined us today on this panel discussion. And from the messages that you've learned, Sister Rupa has mentioned about having a mental food to maintain our well-being. Dr. Vikatuli has also mentioned a lot of activities where we maintain physical activity, we engage in social activities, in creative ways to be mentally healthy. So thank you both for joining me. I hope our viewers have benefited from this panel discussion. And this is me, Madeline Ambrosia, signing off from VDK Kohima.